What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rawstocks. This is Rustic. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tesla's chart. We're going to look at where price came from, where price ended today, and where price is likely to head tomorrow and into the rest of the week. Before we get going, don't forget to check out the link in the description below. We got a link to the Rawstocks Discord. Got a couple different upgrade options if you want to get the custom callouts on the premium side, as well as be able to participate in the book study and get access to the premium chat in the server itself. Also a link to Top Step where you can practice and try to pass a trading combine to become a funded futures trader. Let's dig into the charts. We're going to do a little top down, starting with the weekly chart today. I know it's the first day of the week, so it's still early, but we're going to just see if there's anything that's being told to us as far as the weekly chart goes. Then we'll drop down into the normal charts and take a look at the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then some of the lower time frame charts as well. So if we're just looking at the weekly, you can see we opened up inside compared to the candle from last week, and we traded up a little bit. We traded down. Ultimately, we traded back up and close still inside. We'll see if this week we decide to close inside the week, or maybe we trade down further and we close below the open of last week, or maybe we even trade up further, and we'll look at where those targets would be if we head in either of those directions. So not a whole lot going on the weekly chart. As you can see, though, from the week of January 22nd, we're still just running a test on this breakdown weekly candle. It was a very large candle, big move there, and so this move up, right, this move down, maybe we see a move back up. We're still just running a test until we break 211.87, right, which is basically the open, actually 212.26 to be specific, is the open of that breakdown candle. Until we break that, we're just running a test of that candle itself. So let's drop down into the daily chart, and you can see on the daily chart, we had, basically a gap down, open, and you can see again, we had a wick up, we had a wick down, we traded back. On this chart, we're still just running a test of the breakout candle. The breakout candle was from last Thursday. It was a nice big move. On Friday, we saw price open up and then trade down. And then today we're still just inside of that daily breakdown candle. Now we did run a test basically on that open from Thursday. We rejected that level and pushed up significantly. So that is a good sign that we are seeing some support still inside that breakdown candle range, if you will. Some other things that are going on the chart, and we'll see on the lower time frames of the 1 hour and 4 hour, is that we were also running a test and drawing on liquidity on a 4 hour and 1 hour fair value gap. But still, nothing to say that we are bearish yet. If we start closing below the open of this, which is 189.16 from Thursday's open, if we close below that, then we're most likely going lower. We're most likely going to take out that 175 and then head even lower than that. But this basically this breakup candle, 189.16 open, which is the low of this candle, not the wick low, but the low of the candle itself. If we break below that, that's not a good sign. At that point, we're looking for bearish entries and a move lower. We'll drop down into the 4 hour chart. On the 4 hour chart, we had a fair value gap, a bullish fair value gap that you can see we traded down into. We actually traded through with a wick. You can see these candle bodies basically are right around that low of that 4 hour bullish fair value gap. Technically, it closed, but when we're looking at these fair value gaps and we're returning to them, we're just looking at them as liquidity targets. Okay, so this is a draw on liquidity. As we pull back down into it, we found support, right? We traded down a little bit lower, but we found support in it and we rallied up. We're still inside that 4 hour fair value gap. Now, if we give it up entirely, and again, if we start to target that low of that breakout candle from last Thursday, then we're looking for targeting lower positions. We've already traded down twice to this inverted fair value gap on the 4 hour time frame. If we extend it out and we come back down through that, I don't expect that to hold, right? Again, I think we're going to lower lows below 175. So we really are looking, if you're bullish, we're looking for this area that we're in right now, right? This 190, 191-ish area to continue to hold as support to see us make a move higher above like 205, 206. If we drop down into the 1 hour chart as well, on the 1 hour chart, you can start to see also We have a 1 hour bearish fair value gap that we have not drawn back into. I'm expecting at least us to draw into that liquidity. If we want to go lower, I expect a move into that and then reject that. So what that would look like, right, is our move down, right? Something like this, where we're going to pop up into that fair value gap, draw on liquidity there where there might be shorts, and then we'll be looking to dump down from that point. So really, again, Wednesday, maybe even into Thursday, I'm looking for a move back up into that at least, which is 194.50, which we almost got. I think closer to the end of market, but 194.50, we'll call it, up to 196.50. So looking for that to draw into that at least tomorrow probably, and then maybe Thursday, depending if we trade down and then up. But looking for us to draw in there and then make a decision whether price wants to go lower or higher. Also, you can see there is a 1 hour fair value gap between these candles right here as well, that you can see we've drawn back into. Might find support there to see us push up into that bearish fair value gap. Once we get into that bearish fair value gap, again, if we start to push through it aggressively, I will look for price to head higher. Ultimately, we could target this gap that hasn't been filled between Friday and Tuesday. So opening price over the weekend, right? Weekend close to opening price. And from there, then we have the ultimately the higher high of 205.40 that we could be targeting as well. But we need to get through this gap first, through this fair value gap on the 1 hour time frame, in order for us to push much higher. Now, if we look at the 15-minute chart, 15-minute chart also shows us a bearish fair value gap. I don't have it labeled here, but we have a bearish fair value gap after a change of character. We have not drawn back into that fair value gap. Okay. We also don't see much evidence of any bullish fair value gaps here. So if anything, we're going to draw back into this higher time frame fair value gap and again make the decision. We also got the liquidity target, 15-minute liquidity target of 198.58. So we'll be looking to see if we push up into that liquidity. Maybe gap fill, maybe not. Maybe just run the stops that were in this high, and then we could again see a rejection from there. So a lot's going to be on the line as we push back up into this 194.5 to 196.5. Be looking for Tesla to make a decision at that point. I do think that we've seen the low of the week so far. Typically Tuesdays, between Monday and Wednesday, right? We see a low of the week, looking for manipulation specifically on a Tuesday. But we are also considering the accelerated PO3 with no Monday trading that we might have, seen the low here on Tuesday as accumulation and distribution and manipulation all occur simultaneously and could have got a reversal here. So again, looking to see if we get distribution to the upside tomorrow and maybe even into Thursday. Again, we'll be looking at those targets that we already just talked about. Last, I'll drop down into the 1 minute time frame so you can see where we took some of our entries today in the Discord. I'm going to throw the London session on there so we can see. And so as I blow this up, we can see our London range, right? Low, high. What I saw out of the gate was I saw us run on the low. Took an entry, didn't get it into the callouts because it moved so quickly, but ended up, seeing a nice return on that, over $200, right? And then a second entry that we got. Some of the things that we're looking at when we are looking at our 1 minute chart entries, right, is we're looking at fair value gaps, right? So as we sell off, there's a bullish fair value gap here that we dip back into. Could have grabbed a quick snipe in there. As we're falling even further, this is the entry that we took. Saw it rally up. Targeting was the old high. Didn't quite get there, but was still a nice entry as well in this high. Ended up, having over $200 profit in that trade as well if you closed it. But then we get a big sell-off, right? If you were looking at bearish positions, you could also, not that we came back to it, but there's a bearish fair value gap right there, right? So there was some evidence of bearish activity. There was also a bearish fair value gap down here. So you could have taken trades, calls. You could have taken puts. Either one, ended up paying out if you close them as just scalp entries, right? Looking for those quick profits. So again, we didn't return back up to this one, so it wouldn't have been a clear indication of an entry in that one. But you can see in this bearish fair value gap, we dipped down, we trade back into. Would have been a good short entry, right? Targeted in the old low. It's inside the silver bullet time macro. Would have been a nice scalp trade there as well. Then as we pull back up, we do have an inverted fair value gap right here that you could have traded. Inverted fair value gap in orange, right? We had the fair value gap. We immediately inverted it. We popped back up to it, right? You could have taken your short entry with the stop above the old high, right? Again, would have run from 193.88 down to a low of 191.08. So, $3 move ish or so would have been another nice scalp. Happened relatively quickly, right? 10:23 all the way to 10:37. So less than 15 minutes would have been a good scalp there. At that point, again, there's more, entries. I could go over them all, but we have another fair value gap right here, right, on the way down. I don't see much fair value gaps here. I do see a little one that we traded back to. Could have grabbed along. I don't really like to take the trades after 11 o'clock too much unless I'm looking to swing specifically. So ultimately, on the 1 minute chart, you see us come down. There's a liquidity level right here at 189.53. We kind of come, swipe that liquidity, spend a minute right down there, and then we start to rally just through the end of the day, right? Targeting old highs. Didn't quite get to the next high here, but we did take this high as well, and then we kind of faded into after hours. So what am I looking for? Right, is I'm looking for tomorrow us to not go below 191.09. Okay, if we did that, if we even traded down to 191.09, what I'm looking at there is I'm looking at, even though it's kind of elongated. An inverted head and shoulders kind of look that would then draw us back up into that fair value gap that we were talking about on the higher time frame, right? Maybe we don't even come down to that though. Maybe we just see, this move up, fades it, and then we just pop up there, right? That could also be likely scenario. If we give up 191.08, then I'm looking for us to take a new low, right? I'm looking for us to push down below the 189.11. Potentially down to the monthly open of 188.50. Could go even lower than that, right? So that's kind of my line in the sand right there is 191.09. If we give up that and we close, maybe 15-minute candle below that 191.09, then I'd be looking to exit any calls you do have. And potentially be looking to take shorts around 191.09. So hopefully that's been helpful for you guys. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Join the Discord. It's free to join. Even if you're not a premium member, it's free to join. Come be part of the community. We're having a lot of fun over there. Again, links in the description if you are looking to upgrade to premium, take advantage of those call outs. Again, we had over $550 in profit on the call outs just today, which would pay for over a yearly subscription for premium. So hopefully this has been helpful. Again, see you guys on the trading session tomorrow, and good luck.